Good morning and thank you for joining me. I'm Tania, I'm 68 years old and this is living on a UK state pension. For the next year I'm going to be living on my UK state pension and saving my civil service pension. I don't know what I'm going to spend it on, but you'll be the first to hear when I decide. But 2 months ago, when I decided that I was going to make, this contract with myself to save the money, because you've really got to plan and get your head in the right place, and no better time than New Year. So, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope it's everything you want and wish for. But 2 months ago, when I decided that I was going to do this, I got all my ducks in a row, so to speak. I'm trying to think what the saying is. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Is that the right one? Anyway, you do need planning. As I said to you in my very first video, I went out and I bought myself a notebook, £2.50 from B&M, and that became my budget book. And in my budget book, I literally wrote down all my outgoings, done them in pencil because they can change. And they're definitely going to change in April, so I shall have to rewrite them again, because living on a state pension, my year runs April to April, basically. But I can completely understand, you wanting to start now, but be prepared to have to change some figures. January, it doesn't matter when you start your journey into being a little bit more frugal and wanting to save money, the main thing is that you make a start. Make any kind of start. We're all different. So mine was writing everything down, all your outgoings, all your incomings. First of all, my monthly bills, although I'm paying them for weekly because that's when my state pension is due. So I'm going to be ahead of the game by the time I get to, the end of the year. And I've written them all down and how much they are. Then underneath, I've written down all my annual bills, such as house insurance, car tax, MOT, dentist, that's one of the ones I've got to change because the price of that has gone up, and adjust the money accordingly. Birthdays and Christmas and TV license. Then I added all of those up and I divided them by 12, and that's what I put into a separate account to cover all of those. So as the bills come up, I can draw that money out and pay for each one of these things that happen. There will be more than enough money to cover those bills. And once you've written all of those down, you can actually break them down further into ones you have no say about. You have to pay what the council say in council tax. You're paying rent and mortgage, you have to pay what your landlord says or your mortgage provider says. Insurance, any kind of insurance, yes, you can shop around. But if you need insurance, the bottom line is you've got to pay it. You've got to pay it, I have to insure my car, I have to insure my house. I shop around for like deal, and I'm not loyal. I will find the best price. Travel and petrol. If you're still working and you have to pay for a railway ticket, you've got to pay that, whether you like it or not. You don't have a choice. The same with petrol. Petrol is important to me. It allows me to visit my family, just as my car is important to me. TV licence. If you watch TV, you've got to pay the licence fee, unfortunately. And that goes for, I believe there's, they've been advertising a lot over Christmas, because people think if you're watching any of the iPlayers and you don't watch normal stream TV, live TV, I should say, then you don't have to pay for a licence, but they say you do. But check the small print. All my car expenses, as I say, if I want to run a car, I have no choice but to pay for an MOT. I have no choice but to pay for a service if it needs servicing or anything else belonging to the car. So I have to put money aside for that regularly. And I've put broadband and mobile because, if you want broadband and mobile, you have to pay for it. You can shop around for a cheaper deal, but it's not something you can use less of to bring the price down, okay? You're going to pay regardless of whether you use broadband once a day, or whether you use it all the time, you're streaming all the time, you're going to pay probably the same rate. And mobile, most mobile contracts now, you get so much data, free texts and free calls with them. So you've just got to find the one that suits you and your needs, basically. Things you do have a control over: water, gas, electric, food, and subscriptions. The bottom ones you can decide to get rid of altogether and therefore save you money. Amazon, I stopped Amazon during the summer for about 3 months, I think it was. I wasn't watching anything on the Prime and I wasn't ordering anything to be delivered. So I stopped it. And after about 6 weeks, I started to get regular emails asking me to come back and offering me new deals. And finally, I settled on one where it was only going to cost me £5 a month. And I think it was for 2 years they were going to charge me the £5 a month. So sometimes it's worth cancelling something. 2 months ago when I started this journey, I decided I was going to cancel my Sky. I had Sky, and the reason I had it put in mainly was for the dish, because I had nothing here. I've got no aerials, no nothing. So I knew I was going to have to pay for something, so I had Sky put in, because that way I got the Sky dish for nothing and had to pay for the box. So I had that put in, and I've cancelled it recently. And oh boy, the phone calls I've had from Sky have bordered on harassment to make me stay with them. And yeah, I had to, in an online chat to them, and I've got proof because I've got the transcription. I had to put, are you refusing to close my account with you? And they answered me straight away and said, no, of course not, we're not. We never said that. And I said, but I'm struggling to make you understand that I no longer want Sky. It makes you feel like saying, what part of this don't you understand? In the end, I got all the closing details in the conversation. I'm waiting for the box to be delivered to put the Sky box back in the box to post back to them. And yeah, I finished with them completely. So, subscriptions. As I spoke about Amazon, Netflix, I only pay for the basic, and that's important to me. I have a social life, but I enjoy watching what I want to watch when I want to watch it. any of the iPlayers, if you're watching an iPlayer ad-free one, you know, where you pay £3 a month for not having adverts or whatever, if you don't need it, it could be something you choose to get rid of, as well as magazines. Have a look. This one's important. Check your direct debits. So you're not paying for something you'd no longer use. Currys, if you've had anything from Currys, I'm not bad-mouthing Currys at all in this video, but the classic is they tag on an insurance when you buy. You know about the insurance, you've agreed to it, but you probably haven't even got that TV anymore in your house, or that DVD player, or that fridge freezer. Check your bank account that you're not paying for something that you no longer actually own, and cancel it. It's straightforward. When my husband took the big TV with him, because I didn't want it, it was huge when he left, I cancelled the insurance because it was me paying for it. So I cancelled it. I did tell him what I was going to do, and he says he's covered it in the house insurance anyway. So we'll get back to that list in a minute. We'll go back to water. I have recently checked my meter because it's taken me nearly a year to prove to my water company that I have reduced my consumption considerably. When my husband was living here, obviously there was 2 people, and he didn't do the sort of things that I have always done. If he was running water out in the kitchen, he would let it run down the sink before it became hot. We all have that problem, you know, by the time it comes from the boiler across to the tap, we've lost quite a few litres of water straight down the sink before we do anything with the water, wash up or whatever. In the summer, I put that water on my garden. In the autumn and winter and spring, when it's not needed on the garden, that is put in a bucket in my bathroom, and it's used to flush the toilet. That way, I'm getting a use out of it. It's something I've done religiously over the last 6 months. When they wouldn't change my direct debit from £29.99, and I phoned and spoke to somebody at my water company, and they said, but you know, yes, your consumption has gone down, but we're not seeing enough to alter the direct debit yet. So anyway, this will be a year now. It's due any day now, and I'm hoping that they're going to reduce my direct debit, which is currently £29.99p, down to, if they came back to me and said it was down to £17, I'd be chuffed. I would be really, really chuffed with that. And I will challenge it if they say I haven't proved enough to do this, because I did take a meter reading. I went out and lifted the plate and everything and looked at the meter, and I am aware I have well and truly reduced my consumption. It's the same as if I have a shallow bath. I save the water and I use it to flush the loo. Having been in one of the most expensive water areas in the UK for many years before it changed over, some of these habits are old. We used to be here in the area I live, an old water company that used to pump its water up from underground. And as I say, it was one of the most expensive water areas in the UK. So you got used to quite quickly, yeah, looking at everything, how you used water. So, I mean, the modern washing machines use far less now. I think there's a mechanism in there where they weigh the water. They weigh the load, they weigh the water going in, so they use far less. I also lived in a flat while I was waiting for my house that I bought off plan to finish being built. And in that flat, it had a huge old cistern. And I borrowed, I don't think I ever took them back actually, but I borrowed a couple of bricks from my sister's garden and I put them in the cistern. And that reduces the amount of water in the cistern. It displaces, obviously, that area. So when you flush, you use less water. That's something you can do if you've got a big old cistern, or you can apply to your water company and they will supply you. There's a free list on each of their websites. They all do it. I think it's a government incentive that they have to do it. There'll be a range of products on there that they will post out to you free of charge. One of them will be a bag for your cistern, and you put it in the bottom, you fill it with water as you drop it in, and again it reduces the area of water in your system that can be flushed down the toilet. You'll also get, you can tick the box for it, a aerated shower head. So it uses less water in the time you're in the shower. They'll also send you a little timer that you can put on the wall in your shower, a little, sand timer. And you can turn it round and hopefully you've finished your shower by the time the sand goes through. Sand timer. What else can they send you? Oh, the nozzles for your taps. Aerate your taps. I've got a square tap, I can't use it on it, but they also send you one for your kitchen tap. You might have to unscrew the end of your kitchen tap to fit it. Again, it aerates the water, so you're pouring less into whatever you need to do. And the one thing I also ticked the box for and I could make use of was the swell gel, which is the granules that you can put in hanging baskets and the like in the summer to save you having to water your plants less. But I have a rain butt which I'm going to increase. I've got a dustbin out there, plastic dustbin, and I will be filling the dustbin with water to help me in the garden during the summer. I've got two dustbins. One's metal, an old metal one, and one's a plastic one. So the plastic one I'll be filling with water, as well as the water butt. It's a big one to help me get through the summer, because I do grow my own vegetables. So water is very important to me, and rainwater rather than tap water, which isn't, rainwater's far better on your plants. So, other ways. Only fill the kettle with the amount of water you're going to use. When I've emptied the kettle to make myself a drink, I immediately fill it to for the next drink. 2 prongs. I'm not overfilling it. Second prong, using less electricity, because it's giving that water out of the tap a chance to come up to room temperature, or the ambient temperature in that room. So it's going to take less electric to heat the kettle up. They're all little things I have done for years and years and years, and they all help to bring down little bits on the bill. But I'm hoping to be able to prove to you that I have managed to bring my water down considerably, and that I can tell you what my new next direct debit is going to be on my water. So if not, I'm going to challenge it. Hi, I actually stopped the video because it was going on too long. Plus I was getting chilly, so I went and got a jumper on. Something I do before I get to turn the heating on if necessary. And I'll be back with the part 2 of this, covering gas, electric and food, what we can do to maybe bring the costs down of gas, electric and food. And yeah, so wishing you all a happy new year, and I hope it is everything you wish for. In my case, all I wish for is to stay healthy and active. There will be times in the future, plenty of time in the future, if I, live a long life, shall we say, where I may not be able to do things for myself. So while I can, I will continue to do everything for myself that I can. So thank you for joining me, and I'll be back with part 2 of this, which will probably be next week now, because Friday's one will be the food I've bought so far this month, or this 4 weeks. And yeah, I'm on track. I did make an exception because I came across some really cheap food and it was too good an opportunity not to purchase it. So, but anyway, we'll get back to that on Friday. Okay, thanks for joining me. Bye bye.